Donald Trump's civil trial in New York went awry before it even got started on Friday. And by the end of the day, an increasingly exasperated Judge Arthur Engoron had scathingly joked on Thursday, angrily accusing Trump's legal team of misogyny. Order against lawyers representing the former president. Engoron barred Trump attorneys Chris Kise, Alina Habba Clifford Robert from making repeated, on-the-record statements about internal and confidential communications between my staff. He made inappropriate remarks about my chief legal clerk, falsely accusing her of being biased against them and improperly influencing the court hearing. The right of defendants and their attorneys to comment on my staff far outweighs the need to protect them from threats and physical harm. This order is deliberately narrow and does not prevent anyone from saying whatever they want about Engoron. It expands the existing speech ban, which until Friday applied only to Trump and not to his lawyers. Engoron said he assumed that would be unnecessary because they are court officers. Friday's hearing began with Engoron expressing very clear concerns about Trump and his legal team, repeatedly haranguing Engoron's law clerk, Allison Greenfield, about perceived bias. "I am worried about that," Engoron said, to the extent that there was a perception of bias. Defense attorney Chris Kise responded, "As an attorney, he should have at least flagged it." Engoron said did not view case as a political one and promised not hit table podium again, but reiterated that he had unlimited right to receive help from his clerk who sat next him on bench and said had no idea how that showed bias. "You can say whatever you want about me," he said, and that was taken advantage of. Kise then launched into a criticism that the events were entering dangerous territory here. "The whole country, if not the world, is watching this process," he scolded. "And the United States has been a model of integrity and impartiality in its judicial system since its founding. Nothing here should create the impression that commitment to those principles has been undermined. Yes, as a judge you are entitled to help, but potentially from someone with demonstrable bias. And the way that happened, we should at least have a record." Kise repeated same argument he made at the end of day Thursday, complaining that on every important issue, events are often, if not excessively, decided against us. He said he felt like he was fighting not one but two enemies and brought up an article published Thursday night that called for Greenfield to be disbarred over his political donations to Democrats. He said allegations in article were delivered to court on Friday morning, and he could add that same information regarding extrajudicial conduct was raised last month. "This isn't information. It's an allegation," Engoron snapped, saying he had no idea what article Kise was talking about and hadn't say.